Hello everyone and welcome to The No Show. I'll be your host Nathan Orenstein, and today I'm going to be reviewing Better Man. Better Man is written by Steve Pemberton, Oliver Cole, and Michael Gracey, directed by Michael Gracey, and stars Robbie Williams, Jonno Davies, Steve Pemberton, Kate Mulvany, Alison Steadman, Damon Herriman, and Raechelle Banno. It's a musical biopic that follows Robbie Williams' life from his childhood in the 1980s to his late 20s in the early 2000s. For the entirety of the film, Williams is portrayed as a chimpanzee. Alright, first things first, I gotta come clean. I had no idea who Robbie Williams was going into this film. I had never heard of Take That, I had never heard of him as a solo act, and I didn't recognize a single song throughout the entire film. Let's just chalk it up to me being an ignorant 26-year-old American, shall we? I just want you to know where I'm coming from with this review. And let me say, as someone who did not know or care about Robbie Williams in the slightest, I still found this to be a really compelling biopic. We have to address the elephant in the room though, or should I say, the monkey in the room. The protagonist of this film is a CGI chimpanzee, and also important to note is that he is the only non-human character in the film. Williams narrates that this is because he always felt less evolved than other people. Writer-director Michael Gracey says, quote, "There's nothing glamorous about a monkey doing cocaine. It's actually a bit sad and uncomfortable. You're just like, I don't want to see him doing that," end quote. Which has to be one of the funniest things I've ever heard come out of a press tour. All in all, I think it actually works. I wasn't sold during the first half, I gotta admit. I didn't really understand why he had to be a monkey and how him being a monkey made the film any different than if he was portrayed as a human. But by the time Williams' life starts to plummet into drug addiction, alcoholism, and suicidal ideation, I started to get it. A wise man once said, "There's nothing glamorous about a monkey doing cocaine." And you know what? I think he's right. Now let's circle back to the wise man I speak of, Michael Gracey, who in my opinion is the MVP of this film. Now, this isn't Gracey's first rodeo. He actually made his directorial debut in 2017 with the mega hit musical The Greatest Showman, a film whose issues were largely screenplay based in my opinion, and he wasn't involved in the writing for that one, so he's in the clear for all I care. What that film did have was a magical, not quite natural quality to it, and I mean that in the best of ways. While that film is indeed rooted in reality, there's a dreaminess to the whole thing that Gracey somehow manages to inject into pretty much every scene of the film, no matter how big or small, and this really helps add to the sense of gravity and spectacle that the film has. I say all this because I know a lot of you probably saw The Greatest Showman. It was super popular, and if you liked the dreamlike quality that I'm talking about here, I think you're probably gonna like Better Man too. The difference with Better Man is that now Gracey's working with an entirely different and more difficult vibe. Robbie Williams' life is filled with incredible highs and devastating lows, and he's being portrayed as a monkey, and the movie has a tendency to break out in a song and dance. That sounds like a train wreck waiting to happen, but it somehow miraculously works. The whole monkeyness of it all actually gives him the freedom to push further into an exaggerated sense of reality for both the positive and negative parts of Williams' life, and when combined with that magic from The Greatest Showman I mentioned that obviously works well with the musical bits, it all comes together exceptionally well. Throw in some nifty editing tricks to really sweeten the deal and keeps things flowing smoothly, and you've got a mostly grounded, somewhat surreal, and always entertaining biopic that captures the ebbs and flows of fame pretty seamlessly. This is why this film works as well as it does, and Michael Gracey deserves all the flowers for it. You'll notice that I haven't really touched on the plot at all, and that's because you can probably figure this thing out from beginning to end, even if you've never heard of Robbie Williams. A young and talented outcast gets his big break, shooting him into stardom, which of course puts him on a path to drugs, alcohol, and anxiety. Now, I don't want to downplay any of those things, but that's kind of how these movies tend to go, right? And Better Man is about as by the books as it gets. I'm not going to be the one to convince you otherwise. I think where Better Man does stand out narrative-wise is in its presentation of the lows, and I can genuinely say that this is one of the most depressing music biopics I've ever seen. It all feels authentic though, and I think by hiding behind the safety of the monkey facade, I swear, what the hell is this movie? Robbie Williams is really able to present the rawest and most flawed version of himself. It never feels like he's fishing for sympathy though, at least not in my opinion, and he doesn't try to create some grand redemption arc for himself either. It just feels real, and that's why this movie is so compelling. Of course, at the end of the day, this is another movie about a megastar falling into the same pitfalls of fame that every other megastar falls into. I just think this movie does a really good job within that predictable story. All in all, I think Better Man is a great biopic that really shines through some excellent filmmaking. Robbie Williams' life is on full display here, and the movie makes the highs feel magical and the lows feel tragic, all while maintaining a consistent atmosphere. Now, I don't think this is like head and shoulders above its contemporaries or anything. The performances, the dialogue, and the story are all serviceable but not impressive, but I can't deny how much I loved this movie. And if you're a fan of Robbie Williams or even have mild interest in his life, you'll probably like this even more than I did. When I first saw that trailer with the singing monkey playing some dude I had never even heard of, I was not into it at all. I'm sure some of you feel the same way, but I'm here to tell you that I was completely wrong. Better Man is a great film, and I'm going to be giving it an 8 out of 10. If you enjoyed the review, then feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. And if you've seen Better Man already, I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. I've been Nathan Orenstein with The No Show. Thanks for watching.